As a firefighter, I have suffered from PTSD for over 16 years. During this time, first-hand tragic events and deaths and the memories burn themselves into my mind. For 16 years, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, and counselors could not help me stop re-experiencing these tragic events and the depression, panic, helplessness, nightmares, and sleeplessness that resulted. After only a few hours of Esotherapy, the science of healing pioneered by Gerald Whitehawk, the 16-year nightmare quickly came to an end. Now I look forward to going to sleep and waking to a joyful day. If trauma has marred your life, you could be free from the nightmare in a matter of hours. Esotherapy is a miracle beyond what I could have imagined possible. I can now enjoy a peaceful, happy life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tina Moyer. I'm the Assistant Medical Director here at Sierra Tucson and a psychiatrist. While I've been at Sierra Tucson, I've had a variety of patients that I've worked conjointly with Gerald Whitehawk and myself. And I want to say that to a person, every single one of those patients has reported to me voluntarily that it's been one of the most transformative and profound experiences they've had here. Gerald has developed a type of therapy, he calls it Esotherapy, in which he combines Eastern philosophies, American Indian spirituality, and traditional Western psychologies into an amalgam that I think is particularly helpful with patients in learning to illuminate their interior life with self-forgiveness and self-compassion. Certainly the hallmark of the kinds of patients we work with here is at Sierra Tucson especially is a lot of inner wounding, childhood-related issues as well as attachment ruptures. And the degree of self-loathing and self-criticism with which they examine themselves ends up being a re-traumatization. And I think what's been so helpful for them with Gerald is that he has allowed them to examine themselves in a much more gentle and kind way and experience themselves more as, part of a community of being human rather than of being someone who's sick and dysfunctional and defective. Another piece that is incredibly productive and helpful for our patients is that through Gerald's work, that level of sympathetic arousal, of hyperarousal, is addressed very effectively through his work. And the patients are not only able to be quieted by Gerald, but are able to internalize that technique or that process, so they're able to contain their affective states more effectively, as well as to tolerate disquieting emotions without becoming reactive or acting out in maladaptive behaviors. And finally, what I'd like to say is psychotherapeutic work by nature is slow. Change is a gradual, sometimes glacial process. What I've been impressed by with Gerald's work is that there's a pretty rapid internalization of these skills in terms of, deactivating themselves and bringing themselves back into a normal affective state. They are able to learn this quickly, and they're able to allow others to soothe them much more quickly through the work that Gerald has done with them.
Gerald Whitehawk has been a thoughtful and serene presence in my life. His evening meditations have been powerful in releasing toxic energy and replacing it with positive energy. He has shown me how to remain grounded while thinking through and discussing deep philosophical topics. He has also shown tremendous compassion and empathy towards those in pain. Thank you, Gerald. I'm Ambassador Joseph Wilson, retired.
I've had problems with serious depression and anxiety since I was a little girl. And then, like most of my family, I developed an addiction to alcohol as a result. Over the years, I tried a lot of medical treatments, first counseling, then psychotherapy, then antidepressants. I also tried anti-addiction medications like Topamax and even Antabuse, but all of them met with almost no success. Not only did the treatments take a long time to take effect, they also were really expensive, especially the counseling and psychotherapy. I'd feel better for a short time, but that never seemed to last. I began to feel that I was dealing with the symptoms of my disease rather than their underlying causes. My treatments never seemed to get at what the cause was behind my problems, so I never felt like I was getting any better. So I turned to Esotherapy because its approach is integrative, and I really like that. It treats the mind, the body, and the spirit. It also uses a variety of different techniques to uncover and heal my problems at their source. Right now, my treatment is ongoing, but after only 3 sessions, I've already developed tremendous relief. First off, I no longer have any desire to drink. Secondly, my depression and anxiety have been greatly reduced. And finally, my esotherapist has helped me to develop a connection to nature, which I really felt was lacking in my life. Esotherapy has helped me focus on what the roots of some of these problems were, and I'm feeling so much better as a result. So I can say that I strongly recommend Esotherapy. I recommend it for its effectiveness. It seems to work very well in a short amount of time to get to the root of the problem. And I also recommend that because of the fact that it's integrative. It's a holistic practice that helps people in their mind, in their body, in their spirit, so that they feel healed and unified as a whole person. I feel that Esotherapy is holistic therapy at its best.
My name is Dr. Jim Seymour. I'm a psychiatrist, a board-certified addictionologist, and a somatic experiencing practitioner. I am the director for the Program for Trauma Recovery at Sierra Tucson, a residential treatment program in Arizona. I've been practicing psychiatry for over 32 years. I've shared patients with Gerald Whitehawk for several years. He practices a different therapy called Esotherapy. It's a holistic wisdom therapy, which is based on the esoteric wisdom of American Indian healing traditions, Eastern philosophy, melded with Western psychology, philosophy, and medicine. Most impressive about Esotherapy is its efficiency. It gets rid of the emotional charge of flashbacks and memories involved in post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, grief, addiction, explosive disorders, parenting problems. One of the things about our work together is Gerald has been very, very helpful in helping with our residents with post-traumatic stress disorder deal with their flashbacks and hyperautonomic excessive arousal. In a handful of sessions, the clients we shared have made tremendous progress that would have taken quite a bit of time with conventional psychotherapy, and some of these changes would have been practically impossible with today's available therapies. In Esotherapy, the client receives wisdom, not merely knowledge, obtained on the basis of digesting past life events based on sound, holistic, non-dual wisdom principles. This leads to incorporating the bad past along with the good in a sense of life as is. Results are transformative because they come from realization of higher truths leading to tremendous personal growth. The client is given detailed take-home tools like meditation and imagery for emotional regulation. One of the things I found about Esotherapy is it is very much goes along with and coordinates well with other types of somatic and mindfulness-based trauma therapies, such as somatic mindfulness through somatic experiencing and somatic experiencing touch, and other body-oriented therapies for post-traumatic stress.
Esotherapy has been an integral part of my recovery and healing from my depression and anxiety. I was in a terrible state when I first came in for help. I had terrible insomnia, severe depression, bouts of crying episodes, and so much anxiety that I was not able to perform simple tasks. I cannot thank you enough for your work with me and the patience you have shown towards me throughout my recovery. If it wasn't for you, I would not have made it. With Esotherapy, I was able to make incredible strides in my recovery in 3-week time. This would have been difficult with just medications and conventional therapy alone.
I was a recent client of Gerald Whitehawk's model of esotherapy over a period of time where I felt I needed help with anxiety, family relationships, trauma and flashbacks, and grief and loss. I have to say that Gerald was exceptional in his analysis and understanding of my problems, and my experience of esotherapy was that it was gentle and non-invasive and solution-focused. I felt the results pretty much immediately. Over the last few years, I've been a client of other models of therapy and participated in 12-step recovery. But I have to say that where esotherapy was particularly helpful was in helping me pull together and integrate aspects of previous therapies and healing. Gerald, I would say, is a highly qualified and truly intuitive healer and has a wonderful ability to unknot the emotional entanglements I felt that I'd got into by helping me resolve traumas and finding ways of changing unhelpful behaviors and belief systems. Working with this model has inspired and empowered me both personally and professionally. I would say that Gerald is one of the good guys. He's a skilled and talented teacher and therapist, and I would recommend esotherapy to anyone seeking therapeutic or spiritual solutions. And finally, I'd like to say that what I've noticed and value the most is that my work with Gerald had seriously and so far permanently reduced long-standing intrusive traumatic memories and responses to those memories. And as a consequence, I experienced far less anxiety.
I'm 22 years old. I've struggled my whole life with anxiety and depression, and in the past 4 years, chronic pain. I have seen a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and counselors for 5 years, and I have still been having chronic physical pain along with debilitating anxiety. Within 2 sessions of esotherapy for about 30 minutes each, I noticed that my pain has completely subsided. I feel calmer and more self-aware. I recommend esotherapy to anybody with any kind of physical or mental health issues. I find it much more successful and beneficial than multiple other therapies, including different forms of meditation and even some medications. I have found that esotherapy works faster than any kind of medication or therapy, and that it is more effective. I will continue to use esotherapy for the rest of my life.
My name is Tom Ostrander, and I'm a residential therapist with Gerald Whitehawk. About 2 years ago, I hired Gerald. During that 2 years, Gerald and I have worked together, and we have shared clients. And one of the things that I've noticed is he has been able to take traditional therapeutic techniques and combine them with other techniques that he has learned along the way. He calls it esotherapy. And what I've noticed is when he works with patients, they respond to him very quickly. He approaches their particular situation from a unique perspective that allows them to understand that they're still a good person, but maybe they want to make some changes in their life, and so he's able to help them do that. And again, he seems to get very quick results with the patients. There is one more thing I'd like to say about Gerald's technique, because it actually correlates. It goes deeper than what approach I use, but it's very similar. And what it is it's not just going through a set of rules. It's not just teaching techniques in a rote manner. But what he's able to do is teach a person how to live life in accordance with the natural laws that who we call Creator has set forth, in a way that allows the human being to live life meaningfully and being happy in the place where they are in life.
Three weeks ago, I was lost at the end of what I believed was my life. However, I was given a miracle, which gave me the ability to meet myself again for the first time in 25 years. Thanks to Esotherapy, I can't wait for each new opportunity to explore the incredible things this universe has to offer.
I have suffered from soul-level trauma that has been a result of my upbringing. My trauma started at the age of 5 and continued on until I was 13 years of age. The result of my trauma consisted of post-traumatic stress disorder, vivid flashbacks, night terrors, and phobias. I have been to several therapists, and nothing has changed for me. Speaking with therapists just brought up a lot of negative flashbacks and was a very exhausting process. Nothing seemed to help get rid of the awful memories and trauma. In 2 short Esotherapy sessions, the trauma has completely vanished. I no longer suffer from visual flashbacks, and I no longer feel the shame or guilt due to these events. The past memories are still there, but they fail to bring up the feelings I dreaded so much. I feel free from harm, and I look forward to building the amazing life that I've always wanted.
I had a kidney removed due to cancer, and the other kidney wasn't taking up the slack, and I was in a great deal of pain and distress. But since you're healing, my doctor really has been stunned. I'm out of pain, and my kidney is functioning normally without any medical intervention. I'm out of pain and back to work.
I suffered from severe PTSD, complicated grief, severe depression, horrible anxiety and panic, profound guilt and anger. I was unable to sleep at night after my brother threatened to kill himself and my whole family. I was able to save only my family. I was in tremendous physical and psychological pain. I had flashbacks, and when I came to see Gerald, I just wanted to live to support my family, who was going through as much pain as I was. I had been in counseling for 32 years and was seeing a psychiatrist who was prescribing drugs that were not helping. Other counselors just listened, but gave me no real tools to deal with my symptoms after I left. None of these professionals knew how to make the pain stop. I've seen Gerald for about a year. He listened compassionately, making me feel like he understood what I was going through. He gave me tools like meditation, ways to reflect on certain aspects of my situation that I had not considered in a positive way, and helped me overcome most of my grief. I started to sleep better and feel better. All these were offered in a very respectful and understanding manner. With Gerald, I got through probably the most horrible nightmare in a human being's life with dignity. I was able to leave the house and began to function. If it wasn't for Gerald, I may not have made it.
Hi, my name is Scott Schickel. I've been a marriage and family therapist for 10 years, and I've worked with Gerald for several years. And in our work, Gerald and I have shared a lot of clients. Gerald's clients have always been extraordinarily complimentary of his work. Gerald does a different type of therapy called Esotherapy, which gives great transformative results in a very short period of time.